Hey everyone, I just wanted to give you a few minutes to introduce you to the DJI RC2 controller for Kaydroning. This is the controller that we like to use, definitely more so than the RC1, and we do not recommend the headset that comes with the Neo 2 at all. This controller does everything that we ask it to do without any issue, without any restrictions, without disconnecting from your phone or whatever the screen is built in. So any DJI model that you get, whether it's the Neo 2, the Mini 3, the Mini 4, the Mini 5, definitely opt to get the RC2 controller. All right, so let's dig right into this. The joysticks are here on the back. Just pop them out. Just makes it easier to store the device that way when the joysticks aren't sticking up. And these just screw right on. Really easy. All right, now that we got that done, powering this up, you press the button once and then hold it down till you get all the lights and the beep. All right. Some of the other buttons here, we've got normal, cinema, and sport. Everything we do in normal. Sport would be going really fast and without any obstacle avoidance. That's if you're filming like a live sporting event. We don't need anything like that because we're going to be going at a pretty slow and steady pace. So we'll just wait for this to fire up. These are the antenna. You could put them up, but you're never really going to be flying the drone without it within your line of sight. So it's probably overkill. I'm sure it connects just fine. This is assuming that you've already connected your drone, which the first time you get this and you fire up the controller and you fire up the drone, this will walk you through on the screen how to go about connecting this controller to whatever drone you've got, DJI brand, of course. It does come with a little instruction booklet. You don't need that. It walks you through the whole thing. I do believe you need a Wi-Fi connection to make the initial connection, but moving forward, when you're out flying the drone in the field, obviously you don't need Wi-Fi to be able to connect to it. So let's get my little drone, my little Neo 2, hooked up here so I can talk to it. Let's get a battery pack in here. So the Neo 2 is sort of the less expensive version for the Kaydroning. It still does everything that we need it to do. The only thing it doesn't have is a separate memory card slot anywhere. All the memory is internal. So I'm limited to how much I can store in here. I could probably do 5 Kaydrones with this drone though. And if you're measuring more than 5 pools in a day, well, good on you. But this will probably do just fine. I have crashed it a couple times. It weighs like all or nothing. It's very, the plastic is rather flexible. So this is a great introductory model to work with. Just like turning on the remote, we're going to press the power button and then hold it down until all the lights come on and you see the propellers kicking on there, so we know it's activated. All right. This protective cover, always keep this on whenever the drone is not in use, and I'll tell you why. I'll take it off here in just a sec. All right. The gimbal mounting here for this camera is very delicate. On one of our DJI Mini 4 Pros, we did actually break it. We were able to get the parts and fix it, but this is the most delicate part of the drone right here, the camera gimbal. All right, so whenever it's not in use, whether it's this model, whether it's the Mini 4, the Mini 3, the Mini 5, or whatever brand you might end up with, make sure you're protecting the gimbal mounted camera. So let me set that off to the side for now, and we'll get back to the controller. So it automatically connected to my drone. I'm going to get a nice shot of my office here. When I turn the drone on. So I want to go through some of the important settings you're going to want to set up for, and this is going to be for every one of your Kaydrone flights. Let's start with the 3 buttons up here in the right-hand corner so we can look at safety. It defaults to bypass, and the other options are brake and off. This is one of the things that I've noticed with the RC2 controller that I didn't necessarily see on other controllers, was that it had the bypass option where the other controllers only had brake and off. This means that the sensors on the drone, here's one in the back, there's one on the bottom, all right? And every drone is gonna have those, or at least the more high-end, especially the DJI drones, will have those sensors so it knows if you're getting close to something. When it's set to bypass, it will automatically fly around whatever obstacle that you almost flew into. If you set it to brake, it will simply stop in whatever direction you're going in and not let you fly into the obstacle. Great stuff to have. But There are times when the backyard is small, the fence is close, the house is close, the bushes are close. You gotta fly under a slide to get some anchors.
Approach edge of altitude zone.
Okay, it's letting me know that I'm near Newark Airport right now. You might when you're measuring steps and you've got to get in really close and tight and low. That proximity obstacle avoidance could be a problem. So in that case, you actually turn it off and it says, hey, that's not recommended because you can now crash with it turned off. All right, we're gonna go ahead and turn it off. And this is what it says. Hey, look, you can crash into stuff. Normally when I'm Kaydroning, I'm sitting in a chair in the shade. Yeah, I'm near the pool, but I'm kind of relaxing because I don't need to be in the pool. I don't need to be in the hot sun. I could be in my car with the air conditioning on and the music cranked. Doesn't matter. But whenever I need to turn the obstacle avoidance off to get in tight somewhere, I make sure I get up off my duff and I get close to the drone so I can see both the cameras, the screen, so I see what the camera's seeing, but I also see the drone in my peripheral vision. As soon as I'm done in that tight area, boom, right back to bypass. And I recommend you make sure you do that every time, because the next time you go to fire up your drone, you could have it turned off thinking you're in the clear and bang, you flew it into something. Granted, I have crashed this drone a couple of times, bounces right back. Not the end of the world. The next setting we want to get to is control. Why it's called Gain and Expo, I'm not really sure, but it's the speed. All right, we want to set the speed. All the three first options here, horizontal speed, ascent speed, and descent speed, you want to crank them all the way down to 2.2 miles per hour. All right, this way the drone in every which direction is flying at a slow, steady pace. So that'll do what we need it to do as far as taking the pictures. Speaking of pictures, let's go to the camera. The photo format, I believe it defaults to JPEG. I don't think you can do any other type of photo format. You want the ratio to be 4:3, so your traditional photo shape or size, as opposed to like the widescreen TV 16:9. The resolution is going to be 12 megapixel. I don't think I have an option. Yeah, with the Neo 2, I think 12 megapixels is my only option, which is fine. 12 megapixels is what we want. With some of the higher models, the Mini Pros, there's a 48 megapixel option. You do not want that. I know it sounds better, but I'll get into why we don't want that here in a moment. Anti-flicker is going to be off, for auto, and the rest of the stuff we don't really need to worry about. But speaking more about the camera, this logo right here, this little auto symbol, that's important. I can turn it off, and now I have direct control over the white balance and the aperture and the shutter speed. And I'm not a photographer, so I don't know how to really do all that stuff. My wife could, because that's her gig. So always make sure that is set to auto. This way, if we have a sunny side of the pool and a very shaded side of the pool, the camera will automatically adjust as it flies around. Speaking of the camera, over here on the right-hand side, that white button is that's the camera button. Right now it's a white button, so I know it's set for photos. With the red button, it'd be set for video. But let's take a look. This icon at the top, if we tap on it, it brings up our menu: photo, video, quick shots. So we want to set it to photo. The type of photo we want is timed burst, and then the delay between the timed bursts could be anywhere from 2 seconds to 60 seconds. Well, we want to crank it all the way down to 2 seconds. This is why we want the images to be 12 megapixels. If they were set to 48 megapixels, the minimum it would give us would be 5 seconds. That's too much time in between photos. We want a lot of overlap from each photo to the next. And if you're moving at 2.2 miles per hour and taking a picture every 2 seconds, every photo is going to have about 75% of the last photo in it, and that is exactly what we want. You can never take too many photos, but you can take not enough photos. So don't be shy, especially if there's anything weird, some very, very fancy freeform liner over steps, some wonky wedding cake steps, a freeform sun ledge, a sand bottom that was just kind of troweled like whatever, there's no gutter lines. Get lots of footage of that stuff. When you are getting the footage, remember that the more angles you can get of the same thing, the greater the accuracy of the 3D model that we build will be. And that is where we get the measurements from, pulling them from the 3D model. So always think of getting the same pictures from different altitudes and different camera angles. Speaking of camera angles, right here, on both sides, there are these little dials. This one here on the left controls the camera angle. It's right, it defaults to 0, meaning the camera is looking straight out from the drone. You can crank it down all the way to 90 degrees. Boom, there it is. It will not go any farther than 90 degrees. And you'll notice I'm not zooming. Any kind of digital zoom, you want the zoom to be completely neutral. All right, there is no zoom. We want every photo to be the same closeness, for lack of a better term, than the rest. So as you're doing your different flight paths, your first flight up above, looking at the perimeter of the pool and doing a pass across the middle of the pool, you want that to be at 90 degrees. When you're flying down low, about eye level, and getting all the anchors for a safety cover, you can do that at 90 degrees. When you scan your, so this button here, apparently, C1, that seems to bring it back to 0. Let me test that. I'm learning as I go, too. Check this out. So let's crank it down. If I press that button, yep, okay. So C1 brings it right back to 0 degrees on the camera. But when going back to the tape measure, the pass that you want to take of the tape measure, you want the drone to be at about eye level, so 5 to 6 feet-ish, and you want your angle to be steep, but not quite 90. Right around 70 degrees is cool. All right, and make sure that your tape measure is not flapping around from the propeller wash, because this thing does emit a lot of wind out of the bottom of the drone. You want that tape measure to stay nice and clear as you're doing a lateral pass of it, taking pictures every 2 seconds as you fly by. All right.
Point updated.
Oh, yeah. That just means it's going to land in some new spot. All right. We can scroll back up 45 degrees. You'll take a lot of pictures when you do the perimeter of the pool from the outside looking in. That will be at 45 degrees. I do a pass from the inside of the pool looking out at 45 degrees as well. A lot of the scanning of the side and back slopes and the transition and the hopper brakes and things of that nature. The shallow brake, I'll do at 45 degrees. I'll also do my steps at 90, 45, and 0, so I can get the treads, the risers, the front corners, everything. So that's the basic gist of that. The last thing that you're gonna need to know how to do is how to take off. This button right here to the left with the arrow pointed up, I tap that. I'm not gonna do it in the office because I've learned the hard way. If I launch a drone in my office, all my paperwork goes bye-bye, and then I got to figure out how to put it all back together in the order that it was needed to be in. But you will hold this button down, and a circle will go around it, and once the circle completes, it will initiate the takeoff process. When you're finished, while you're flying, this will be the same thing, but with an arrow pointed down. You would tap it again and then hold down on land, and it will go back to the home point where you took off from. It will remember that. If you're ever over a pool that's full of water, because you're measuring for cover, maybe you're doing a rock wall, trying to get a lot of detail there, and you've gotten down very low in the altitudes. You're going down, you're going down, you're going down, you're going down there, and the controller, the drone, thinks you're trying to land, and all of a sudden it says landing. You do not want to land on the water. Okay, they do not float. They go to the bottom immediately, and that is not good. If you're going down, 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 and it says landing, immediately just tap this joystick up, and that will cancel the landing process. You can also hit cancel, but it's just quicker. Just to quickly tap it up, and boom, it shuts it off right away. So speaking of these joysticks, the standard setting, and you can change these if you like, but this seems to be the logical way to do it. On the left, up it goes, brings the drone up in altitude, down brings the drone down in altitude. Left and right makes it rotate left or right, staying in the same spot. So the right hand controller is the one that has the actual movement, where forward puts the drone forward, backward makes it go backward, and left to right is now lateral left and right movement. When you're taking pictures, like say you're in an oval pool and you're at the deep end, and you're right there in the middle, you're down, at a 0 degree angle and looking at the wall, and you're thinking you could, let me just, rotate around in a circle and take pictures. It's actually better if you rotate and shimmy at the same time. Okay, the more angles, the merrier. The more variety of angles, the merrier. If we're just rotating, we're not getting as much information as we could, as opposed to if we just shimmied it to the left or the right and then rotated, shimmied to the left or right, rotated. So let me demonstrate what the camera is going to be doing while you're flying all your different flight paths. I'll go ahead and start taking some pictures here of my office. So once you're airborne, start taking pictures. Tap the. Here we go. So you get the Oh, I turned it on and then turned it back off. There we go. So these numbers here in the middle, your countdown, and you hear it clicking every time it takes a picture. Whatever you're focusing on for that particular flight path, if you're doing the perimeter of the pool, if you're doing the shallow break, if you're doing the tread or the riser of some steps, if you're doing the front edge of a custom safety ledge, a freeform safety ledge, try and keep what you're focused on there where those numbers are, right in the middle of the screen. When you're doing the tape measure and it's going across, it should be going across the middle of the screen. And I have found that at eye level and a 70-degree angle with the camera, having my tape measure, my Stanley Fat Max right there at the number, the propeller wash from the drone does not make it flicker. It stays nice and steady. That is vital. We need a good scan of that tape measure. Let me turn this off. Because that's our scale. You could scan the entire pool, and if you forgot to do the tape measure, it's no good. We could build a model, but we don't know what size to make it. That tape measure is important. And yes, the tape measure is going to show up in a lot of other photos too. Make sure it stays there the whole time, because that's actually part of the process. That's really, I think, about it as far as getting set up and taking off for your first flight. Obviously, we'll do another video for actual fly time. Just remember that when you're changing from one flight path to another, you're going from up high to down low above the deck, and then you're going to go down into the pool and get some pictures at different angles. Just let the camera keep going. Again, you cannot take too many pictures, but you can take not enough. It does not cost you anything to take more pictures. It does not take you more time. You're flying anyway. Just let it keep snapping the pictures. It doesn't take us any more time to process the photo. It's fine. Just keep the pictures going. And again, too much is never enough. That's about it. I will see you guys on the next one. Although, I should probably show you how to turn this controller off. So when you're done doing all your Kaydroning, just like when you turned it on, tap the button and then hold it down, and the lights will come down and it'll shut off. Same thing for the remote. Tap the power button and then hold it down, and it'll go through the shutting down process. And there you have it. That's pretty much all you need to know.